Hey guys, I thought I would show you guys how I'm going to make a overflow with a weir for the back of my tank. It's not going to be a full box. It's only going to be, it's going to use the tank as the back, and I'll silicone it into place. I started out by buying a sheet of plexiglas at Home Depot. It was 18 inches by 24 inches by 1/4 inch, and it's a pretty good size. I think it might have been $25, which I think is absurd, but hey, I needed it and that was convenient at the time. So I start out by making the sides of the box that I need. So I have the piece that I'm going to cut the weirs in, and then I just made this setup here. I'll glue this together nice and clean, but I still need to cut the weirs in here, so I'm going to do that first. So you'll notice I kind of set up a jig here. I have a piece of stock, and the way I figured it out, not a lot of science in here. I built one for the 55, and I feel it should have more flow. So those were one saw blade, an inch deep. What I'm going to do here is go 1.5 inches deep. So I kind of go to where the saw blade starts to cut, have it against the fence, and I move this piece of stock, which will be my stop, 1.5 inches away. So I also have the clamp behind the saw blade, so that means I can move the fence and start out pretty darn close. You know, obviously not closer than the piece of stock, but I can start out here. That would be great. So how I'm going to do this and have a uniform amount of cuts the same space apart is, after I make my first cut, I will bring it down and the cut will be here, and I don't know if you can see this pencil mark here, but I will move the fence so that the cut lines up with that pencil mark each time. So as I go across, they will be the same distance apart. Now after each cut, see this pencil mark here? This isn't a good shop saw. This is more of a contractor saw. So I don't have a perfect little crank to crank it over. So I move the whole extended grate, and now you see that pencil mark is lined up with my slot. The next slot will be right there. Now you have to go careful. You can't force this because that is a thin slot and you will break out the middle tooth. If that happens, it's pretty bad. You kind of got to make another piece. Now, as you start to get to the end on the table saw, because you're working off a fence and the blade's way over here, it starts to get a little wobbly, so you really need to pay attention and hold it against the fence. You would think you could just flip it and start all over again, but because of the angle of the saw blade as it's cutting, because it's round, it puts a angled cut at the bottom of each cut, and I like to put that towards the inside of the weir, just for aesthetics really. And you wouldn't want half one way and half the other, because the slots would look weird in the tank. That's the only reason. So you just got to be careful. Now I'm off by about 1/16 of an inch from one side to the other. That shouldn't be noticeable. I just kind of winged it where I started and got lucky. I consider 1/16 of an inch to be lucky. So I'll glue it up and I'll show you how we attach it to the tank with some silicone. Now I'm cutting a piece of black egg crate to sit on top of the weir, and notice when you buy egg crate, it comes with this one edge is got a reveal on it, and that's so it sits in the frame of the fluorescent light fixture. And I'm going to repeat that around the edge and hope that that will hang in my weir. So I've set the depth of my saw blade to exactly that, and I'm going to attempt to rip it. The black seems to hold up better to milling than the white. The white is very brittle, and it'll pretty much shatter if you try to do something like this, I feel. But the black definitely has more flex to it and stuff like that. So I had some laying around. Let's give it a whirl. Okay, overflow box all clamped up. Good news. Bad news, I didn't have any weld on for. It must all evaporated, so didn't have the lid on tight. So I used some PVC glue, and I gave it about a 30% chance of working. I don't think PVC glue gets a chemical reaction that's hot enough to bond the acrylic. But I got it clamped up, and I'll put some on order. I think if it's not dry by tomorrow, I'm going to give it whatever I can give it. And we'll see from there, because I really want to silicone it to the back of the tank and do a water test. So we'll end it here, see what happens tomorrow. Okay, I installed the weir into the tank. I taped it off, and I trimmed these pieces of wood to give me the gap I want for the silicone in here. So I was able to clamp it to the tank and have the right gap. So I'll just inject silicone into there. I got my tape ready, and I'll just wipe it off. And sounds easy, right? So that's what it looks like. And I am not going to try and work with silicone and hold the camera, so show you when it's done. Magic of TV. And with the magic of television, silicone bead is done, smooth, and tape removed. So I should point out that yes, I put the bulkheads in before I put the weir on, just in case. It looked like it was going to be pretty darn close if you look at the size of that, and I didn't want to run into that problem. So bulkheads are in, they just need to be cinched. Let me know if you guys think, if you want a plumbing episode. I mean, so many guys have done plumbing, and basically I'm just gonna plumb it down to the sump. It's gonna be a little bit of PVC, a couple of elbows, nothing fancy at all, and then my returns. So let me know. As you can see, I painted up the back of the tank, and I put a coat on the stand, even though it's not skinned yet. Not sure exactly when I'm going to skin it, but I do want to get a yoga mat on there, get the tank on it, and test fill it. So next video will probably be test fill, unless it goes horribly wrong. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.